portions of the assessment report. If you have any questions concerning the assessment report, feel free to email me or let me know. We're going to start with assessment report number 1, which is interest, motivation, and self-perception. There are 2 assessments that you are reporting on in this assessment report. As you'll see up here, this section is actually left over from a previous assessment. It means nothing, so you can delete it. You do not need to report on that. Just thought I would share that with you so that you aren't confused about that part. You start obviously with the date of administration, typing in the date in which you gave it. The next section, the purpose of the assessment, is where in your own words you're going to describe just that, the purpose of the assessment, what the assessment is used for. Now, the section below, the third section, the type of assessment, is where you will identify the type of assessment, whether it's a screening measure, a diagnostic measure, progress monitoring tool, and or an outcome test. However, you will also need to provide rationale as to why you chose that type of test. Now, as mentioned in class, some of these assessments can be used for different purposes. What I'm looking for is to see your thinking as to how you feel like you used this assessment in this class. The goal of the assignment is to find out your thinking as to what type of assessment you feel like the particular assessment is and why you feel like it is that type of assessment. Moving below is the next section, which is the student's response to the assessment. This is where I'm looking to see that you are giving a few sentences about how the student responded. What was their emotional reaction to the assessment? Was it good, neutral, disappointed, frustrated, etc., and then to sort of just explain. This is based on observation data that you have just on the fly taken of the student, whether you've written it down or it's just been mental. So that's just clearly how the student has responded to the assessment. The next section is truly the meat of the assessment. This is where you're reporting on the behaviors, whether they are reading related, or in this case, behaviors that have to do with interest and self-perception. So each section is very explanatory. What I'm looking to see that you're able to do is that you are able to not only define which behaviors are established and which ones are developing and which ones are emerging, but that you're able to support this information with data. So as you can see that I've got little probes here for you. So you're essentially answering that question and supporting it with data. Same with developing and emerging. This final section is where I'm looking for, it's kind of the so what section. So you've reported the data, you've given me the facts. How are you going to use that information to inform your instruction? So I'm looking that you include very specific strategies, practices, or activities within the framework of Partner Power. So how are you going to use this information later on in your lesson plans to support and foster your students' particular needs? And in the case of this assessment report, interest and self-perception. So I've talked through the assessment report. Hopefully you will find it not too terribly difficult to go through. However, I do hope that you will think deeply about this process.